Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prodigy channel. And if you guys have been following along with this channel for the 2021 fantasy football season, you know that every week I would make a video where I went through all my leagues, set my lineups, went over my transactions and trades, all that good stuff, just to give you guys a little insight into some real life league action in fantasy football, dynasty, redraft, all that stuff. And we did make it to a few championships. And this is basically just a video where I'm going to be recapping the seasons in each of those leagues and taking a look at what's going to happen next for the channel. I also make other videos as well, not just me setting my lineups. I make some, start sit videos, trade videos, stuff like that. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned if you're into that kind of stuff. But just quickly to recap our season, because, since all year long, we went through, we set the lineups. I figured it would only make sense to kind of just recap how the final week of the season went, because I haven't done that yet. There are no lineups to set per se, but I just thought it'd be nice to give a little recap. So in this league, this is my longest running league. I think this was the 10th year of this league. Non-PPR, redraft, one quarterback, standard snake draft. We did win the championship. This is our third championship. It's just one of those leagues that I'm in with a bunch of friends. It's currently a 12-team league, but in the beginning, I think this was like a 6-team league, so it's come a long way. But yeah, this is my I did get the win here over the 69ers. It came down. I had a slight lead over my opponent with A.J. Dillon, while my opponent had Aaron Jones, and we all know how that went, right? Aaron Jones went off, had a couple rushing touchdowns, and he was my fantasy sweetheart this year. I remember drafting him in like the middle rounds, thinking he would do something, and he ended up coming in clutch down the stretch. But yeah, here's a quick look at the lineup. I don't need to spend too much time on it. Obviously, Antonio Brown really hurt me. Benching DJ Moore was a good decision. Boston Scott on the bench, Rhamondre Stevenson on the bench. That hurt. The Bears defense put up 21 on the bench, but the Saints defense put up 15, so it was all right. And then also, just a lesson I learned from this league is I lost Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, Antonio Brown for a lot of the season. DJ Moore ended up kind of being sort of not very reliable. So I was without a lot of players. And a lot of times in this league, when I win the championship, it'll be after my first round pick gets hurt. I think I won when I drafted David Johnson and he missed the season. I think there was another time my first round pick missed the season. Or David Johnson played the first game, then missed the season. And then Derrick Henry and Calvin Ridley, my first couple picks in the draft, go out for pretty much all year. Obviously, Derrick Henry helped me get to the playoffs and score the most points in the league over the course of the season. But you know what I mean, right? I didn't have him in the playoffs. So it just kind of goes to show that even if you suffer major injuries, if you stick with it and you monitor the waiver wire, you can find replacement value on the waiver wire. That's the most important thing. I remember that year that David Johnson got hurt, I really was monitoring the waiver wire, and that's when I picked up Alvin Kamara, and he ended up being a league winner for me. So it really just depends, how you monitor the waiver wire, right? In this league, this is a half PPR standard redraft league. I got second place in this league. The team that I played against just went off. It was a 2-week playoff. Here's a quick look at the playoffs. This was the second round of the playoffs, so I'm on the right. Nothing really crazy, honestly. I don't want to spend too much time just going over the scoreboard. This was the previous week, which I already went over in a different video. But yeah, there's that. So we got second place in that one. That was just that's a new league I just joined. It was like a fun free league, so no big deal. And then this league, I made the playoffs, I made the championship the first year, won it the second year, and then this year we missed the playoffs by one game, and I really liked my team, but it just didn't work out. One thing I will say about this team is that, here it is, I went very top heavy with my auction draft. This was an auction draft. And I went very top heavy with my spending, getting Devontae Adams, Kelsey, Aaron Jones, Kyler Murray. It's a 2-quarterback league, so he was quite a bit. And while I still liked my team, I just wasn't able to get enough value off of the waiver wire early on, especially at wide receiver. I was starting Emmanuel Sanders for a lot of the time. He was just killing me for a lot of the season. So one thing I learned from this league, is in an auction draft, it is important to get those superstars, but you need to be careful not to spend up too big too early, because at the end of that draft, there were players that I liked for just a handful of dollars, and I couldn't even afford it because all I could do was $1 bids. So, and in the previous years, I went with more balanced approach of getting a bunch of really high quality players and having them kind of break out and carry my team to the championship. So that's one thing I learned in this auction draft. If you're going to spend heavy, maybe, don't go all in with 5 really expensive players, maybe get 1 or 2, and then get a lot of those middle tier players, especially at wide receiver, where you can see, kind of those middle tier wide receivers kind of step up and have a big breakout. Deebo Samuel. Anyways, and this is the Dynasty Championship, and I got second place in this one as well. It was a heartbreaker. So we made the championship in 3 out of 4 leagues. I would say that was pretty successful. We ended up only winning one of them, but I will take that one win because I didn't know if that was even going to happen. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, this Dynasty team is very, very good. Going forward, I will have more Dynasty videos coming out. I don't necessarily want to have a series of any kind that I have to like commit to just to put out content. But if I think there's something that I want to talk about, I'll put out a video talking about it. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor and Brady, they were great for me all year. I traded for Antonio Brown in Dynasty, and that ended up really biting me in the butt because in the championship, he retired in the middle of the game. That affected me very poorly in multiple leagues. And then moving forward, he probably won't play again. So that is really tough. Ronald Jones got hurt in a great matchup against the Jets, and I only ended up losing by like 9. So this was definitely a winnable matchup. George Kittle with only 4. Ugh. And then just a quick scan through the lineup just to immortalize it. We dealt with a lot of injuries. This was a crazy year with COVID and all the injuries, but no McKissick, no Sanders. Robinson went on IR late. Hopkins, Godwin, Calvin Ridley on IR. Sutton and Judy really being irrelevant. It just wasn't a great end to the year. But I do think that this team, and that's what's fun about Dynasty. If you're not in a Dynasty League, I would encourage you to join one because I get to keep this team. We get to build on it. We get to draft, make some trades. And then even if you don't, I consider this a very good team. I think I probably have the deepest team in the league when everyone's healthy, I should say. But even if you're not a contender, it's still fun in Dynasty to rebuild. That's always a fun process. And then just to end off this Dynasty video, I just have to immortalize this decision I was going to make. If Antonio Brown didn't play because he was questionable, I was going to pick up Braxton Berrios, who put up he's had a couple touchdowns. I think he had 20-something points. So I would have won if Antonio Brown didn't play because I would have played Berrios. So that is really unfortunate. Antonio Brown hurt me in a lot of ways. And he is actually one of my all-time players. I mean, from his Pittsburgh days, he was. Yeah, things have changed since those days. Moving forward, I'm going to still come out with more fantasy videos. I think, during the season, we did some start 'em, sit 'em, some buy low, sell high. We did the setting lineups videos. I'm probably going to do those next season as well. With the setting lineups ones, I might have a separate Dynasty sort of video for that, and then a redraft one to kind of shorten the videos a little bit. And then in the offseason, we're in the offseason now, so we're going to talk about just any trades that happen. We're gonna talk a little bit about Dynasty, some trade targets I like and don't like, stuff like that. And yeah, just kind of projecting the upcoming 2022 season. But for now, enjoy the NFL playoffs. Comment down below who you got in the Super Bowl, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.